Hey everyone, welcome back to Lumber Capital Log Yard. In today's video, I'm going to be going over the top 5 things to watch for and be aware of when you are purchasing lumber. So without further ado, let's get into the video. First up, we have shake. Shake is when there is one or more cracks running through a board. It is really common in hemlock but can be found in any species of wood. Depending on your project, a little bit of shake might not be an issue, but it is especially important on anything bearing weight that there is no cracks or precursors to cracks, as that could lead to a larger issue forming over time and as the wood dries. We don't sticker anything with shake, but we have noticed that when they are stickered and left out to dry, some cracks can form. So it is your job as the buyer to pick pieces suited for your project. The next thing to look out for is wane. Wane is when there is still bark on the board. This happens all the time and isn't necessarily a bad thing. Every mill is going to have a different protocol for what is acceptable to sell and not. Our protocol here at Ironwood Acres Timber Harvest is one side clear. If there is wane on one side but you flip it over and it is perfect on the other side, then we call that saleable. This is because for most people, both sides aren't going to be visible for their project, so you can easily hide the bark by using the other side that is clear. Having a little wane on one side isn't going to affect the outcome of many projects too much. If a customer wants zero wane, it is probably for pure aesthetics. That being said, if your lumber supplier isn't charging more for a board without wane, I would go with the one with no wane, even if it requires digging through the pile a little. The third thing that you are going to want to watch out for is rot. You can usually tell that it is rotted by the contrast and color from the rest of the board. When it is coming fresh off the mill, I can usually tell really easily because the rotten part is usually saturated with water and not firm. When a rotten board is stickered and dried, it can be harder to tell. It is when a board is a little rotted that you can see some precursors to shake. You can see that the board is nice and clear right here, but down at the end there are some streaks in the wood. These streaks aren't doing any harm right now, but down the line they could turn into cracks. This is what I meant when I said precursors to shake. Next up, we have bowing. This can happen either as it is being cut on the mill or after the lumber has been left to not dry properly. If a board warps after I cut it, it is from pressure in the tree. Other times, say after you bought some lumber but you let it out to sit outside in the weather, not stickered, the bowing is from uneven drying. We don't sticker anything that is bowed. If there's a board that is warped, then we put it in the seconds pile and sell it for cheap. Now let's talk about knots. There isn't anything wrong with having knots in your board. I am specifically referring to smaller dimension lumber like 1x3s and 1x4s. You have to watch out for knots that go all the way through the board because a knot can be a weak point. Unfortunately, I don't have any examples of knots that go all the way through. But so often, it has been the case that 1x3s snap on the knots. Usually, these don't even make it to our inventoried piles because they snap right away. Now I know that this makes 6, but the last thing I want everyone to look out for is how the lumber is stored. Lumber must be stickered for any long-term storage. Otherwise, it could be a perfect board coming off the mill and turn into something that is riddled with cracks and rot. Every mill has a different standard and protocol for how their lumber is stored and cared for. This is why we encourage our customers to come up to our log yard and hand-pick their pieces instead of having us do it. This way, you find the boards that are right for your needs. Everyone needs a different product for a different application. Just make sure that you do your research so you know that you are getting a quality product. That's it for this week's video. Let me know if you would like to see a part 2. And as always, don't forget to like and subscribe for more videos like this one every week.